Hey guys, I think we're live. I'm just doing this as a quick live chat just to talk about the UK Championship show that was just on the WWE network. So come on in, say hello. Just going to turn off the audio on my computer. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm just doing this on the fly, so it'll take a couple of minutes just to get into it. And then when we're into it, let's go. Let's talk about the championship. Tell me your thoughts. Right, I'm just going to check on my other computer that everything's running all right. This looks pretty good. Okay, let's just see if this is working. Hopefully, yes, and we're all good to go. So, the UK Championship. What did you all think? Was it good? Did it live up to the last time? The Norwich, not the Norwich show, the Blackpool show, which was the actual UK Championship tournament. My thoughts on it were, back in Blackpool earlier in the year, I really enjoyed that 2-night event. It was just brilliant for British wrestling, and it really kind of pushed some British wrestlers and made stars out of them. So coming into tonight, I was pretty excited that tonight was going to be a good show and kind of follow on from that event. And we started off with Wolfgang versus Joseph Connors, which I thought would be a good, solid. Hey, anyone that's watching, come and say hello in the chat and tell me what you thought about the UK Championship show tonight if you watched it. I'm just going to chat about Wolfgang and Joseph Connors. So, yeah, the opening match, I thought this could really, set up the show and that. And then it started, and it was quite slow at the start, and the crowd was quite dead. Obviously, in the Blackpool shows, the crowd were mental. They were kind of cheering and jeering all throughout the show, right from the start, and I expected the same tonight, and it was a bit kind of slower and a bit subdued, and I was slightly worried about that. But obviously, it picked up as the night went on, and it picked up as this match went on. With Wolfgang and Joseph Connors. So Wolfgang I really like as a wrestler. He's big but he's agile, and I think that's just like a brilliant combination. I like his gimmick to an extent. I still think it needs kind of honing in a little bit and kind of working out, and probably some areas you could push a bit higher and other areas draw back, but I like that his finish is called the Howling. I think that's a great finishing name. And overall, I think he'll do alright in the WWE. It's just going to take time to refine him a little bit. Joseph Connors, for me, I've seen him a lot on the indie scene in the UK, and he is just a brilliant heel. And I don't feel he's getting to show enough of that in the UK, WWE UK kind of scene. It's quite a little bit subdued. He has another gimmick in Southside Wrestling, who have said hello. Which I really like, and that is basically he's a bit mentally damaged, and he feels that he's still the WWE, the Southside champion, and he comes out to we are the champions, and kind of everyone plays along with it, and it works really well. I don't know if that's a gimmick he could adopt that sets him apart from the other heels within the WWE UK. I'm going to keep struggling with that. UK Kingdom. No, still struggling. Jeez. United Kingdom Championship. Yeah, I had to read it then. So I think he maybe needs to think about his gimmick and character a bit more. The match itself was a good solid opening match. There's nothing too kind of out of the ordinary or too exciting, but it worked. It served as essentially a good opening match. But I was slightly disappointed, and I thought, have we peaked already at the UK Championship back earlier in the year, and now we're going to go and get into the WWE style, and it's all going to be a bit subdued, and that it felt like at the UK Championship that the wrestlers and that had a bit of license to kind of continue what they do on the indie scene, and it felt different and fresh. And then tonight started, and I thought, oh no, we've fallen into this WWE style that kind of subdues people a bit when they come from an indie scene. Sorry. And then next up was the 205 Live kind of tag team match, but also had a British guy in it as well. Is it Dan Maloney? Dan Maloney, yeah. When TJ Perkins come out, I just can't take to TJ Perkins. I'm not keen, and the Brian Kendrick. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not keen on them, and don't even get me started on Rich Swann. I'm just not a fan of his at all, in the slightest. I will emphasise that I'm not a fan of Rich Swann at all. He seemed over with the crowd, though. Everyone was like dancing along with him and singing along with him with his entrance theme. And this match came on like after Wolfgang and Joseph Connors, and I genuinely thought that it was going to go downhill even further. I was hoping, and I even said it on Twitter, I was hoping that this match would get over with quickly. How wrong was I? I loved this match. I thought it was so good. There were some like really good moments in it when TJ Perkins was he had his tag team partner, the Brian Kendrick, on the rope, and he didn't realise it was him, and he was like injuring his arm, and then that was like all the crowd were in on it, but he didn't know what was going on, and then he looked to the side, and obviously Rich Swann and Dan Maloney were stood at the sides, and he realised. I thought that was a good little spot. I really enjoyed that. But the absolute best moment of this came from the commentary team, and this is probably one of my, and the crowd. I'll start with the crowd. So the crowd started a chant that TJ Perkins is a wanker. Now, in the UK, obviously wanker is a derogatory term. And then it was passed over to the commentary team, where JR genuinely on commentary said, "What is this wank thing or wanker thing?" And that was just amazing, like an amazing little commentary piece. And I'm surprised they kept it in the show, but fair play to WWE, because I'm sure like everyone watching it got a laugh out of them, and it was a real British kind of moment within the United Kingdom Championship, and it worked really well, and I thought it was really great. As I say, the match for itself I really enjoyed. I thought it was good. It flowed really well, and I thought like everyone came across really well. There's some good spots in it. Ultimately though, it seems a bit weird having the 205 guys come over and beat the tag team with the UK guy. It just served as nothing to progress kind of anything. It was kind of like a fluff match really. And someone put on Twitter, and I thought this was great, they said so the 205 Live guys are now the Divas division of the UK Championship, and I thought that was brilliant, and I replied saying yeah, toilet break time and all stuff like that. So that made me laugh, but yeah, it really picked up in that match, and the crowd got into it, and it worked really well. I thought it was like a good little pick-me-up match. And then we obviously had I caught the end of a segment with Pete Dunne and Trent Seven backstage with Carly Caruso, I don't know, where she was interviewing Trent Seven, then Pete Dunne comes along and kind of injures his arm and his elbow against the wall, and that obviously sets up their match, which was next. And it was a great little kind of thing to progress Pete Dunne as this like kind of savage heel that just doesn't care and wants to injure as many people as he can in his path. And again, I thought that worked really well, and then led into the match. This match, I think, I was the most excited for on the card. I thought it would just be a really good match, and it lived up to it. This was probably, I'm going to put it out there, this was probably one of the matches of the year for me in the WWE so far. I just think it was bloody brilliant. It had everything. It had kind of the technical side of British wrestling. It had some great spots. The spot on the ring apron with the suplex was amazing. And it built and built, and it really told a story. And that's what I love most about wrestling, is when you get a match that tells a story, and you start off not invested in it, although I kind of was with this anyway because I knew it would be a great match, but you start off with like no kind of leaning either way, and then as the match builds and builds and builds, you start to pick the side that you want to win, and then secondly, it just blows your expectations and you don't know who's going to win, and every time there's a pinfall, you don't know if they're going to kick out of it or not. And I think that's like the amazing thing that can happen in wrestling if it's done right. And Pete Dunne and Trent Seven done this perfectly tonight. They captured the moment perfectly, and as I say, it's a bold statement, but I think it's one of my favourite matches of the year so far. Not just in the WWE, not just in the UK Championship, but in the WWE as a whole. I think it worked brilliantly. And obviously, WWE are obviously really high on Pete Dunne. They're pushing him a bit, and they're really letting him kind of build this heel character, and I bloody love it. I absolutely love it. I think he's just got this savage side to him, the way he looks, the way he goes about his business. And I think, obviously, he won the number one contenders match. And I think NXT Chicago tomorrow night, he's going to blow the roof off that place. I genuinely believe, for anyone that's not seen Pete Dunne yet and is at NXT tomorrow night, or is watching NXT tomorrow night, I think a star is going to be born tomorrow night with Pete Dunne. And I'm kind of hoping he takes the title, but we can talk more about that tomorrow night on the NXT live stream. But yeah, as I say, that was a great match, and it really got me invested and really made me realise kind of the talent that's in the UK at the moment. And I'm so glad that WWE are promoting this talent and giving it a chance and a platform, and I think it's brilliant. And I definitely think both men, Pete Dunne and Trent Seven, can go on the main roster and hold their own. I think, as I said on Twitter again, I'd actually love to see a Pete Dunne Neville face off on whether it's 205 Live or SmackDown or whatever. I just think it would be brilliant, because they've both got like this savage kind of narcissistical side to them that would kind of, if they come together, really it'd be amazing. And then we went to the main event of the evening. I looked at the time, and there was still like 20-25 minutes left of the show, so I either thought that this main event was going to be kind of medium length match, and then there's going to be some shenanigans. That is Jamie's favourite word, who obviously does videos on this show as well. I thought there's going to be some shenanigans after the show, or, which did happen, and I'm so glad about it, is they gave time to Mark Andrews and Tyler Bate. Now, I'll be honest, I've not seen much of Mark Andrews on the indie scene. What I have seen has been very flippy and kind of lots of theatrics, and I expected more of that tonight, but I was intrigued to see how it went with Tyler Bates' wrestling style. And overall, I was pleasantly surprised. This was one hell of a match. And it really showcased that although Mark Andrews can do all this kind of flippy shit and whatnot, he is a great technical wrestler, and he's got the foundations of wrestling down as well. The match, again, like all the matches on the show, really kind of started slowly in a very technical aspect, and then it built up, and then we got some flippy stuff and whatnot, and we got some great spots. Like, there's one spot that was potentially botched. Well, it was botched, but they recovered it, and it actually worked really well. Tyler Bate is he's a superstar in the waiting, like at 20 years old, and the way he carries himself and kind of the stature he has, he's got one of those personalities in the way he is at the moment in the UK Championship. He's got a personality where people endear themselves to him and they like him just because of the way he carries himself, and I think that will really work for him moving up, hopefully again into NXT or the main roster. Mark Andrews, he's already there. He could go in 205 Live tomorrow and be a brilliant addition to the division, and this was just again a massively good showcase of British talent. And the match, although it was kind of mismatched with styles, it worked really well, and they both worked bloody hard to give a great match. There's a few people on Twitter that were obviously at the show when it was recorded a couple of weeks ago saying how everyone should watch this match and how good it was, and sometimes when matches get overhyped they can be a bit underwhelming, but this definitely lived up to the hype people were saying on Twitter before it started. I just loved all the moves in it. There's quite a few hurricanranas, but I don't mind that every now and again. If he's gonna be doing it every match, then it's going to get old very quickly. But it worked tonight. I think the right person won, Tyler Bate, and then obviously we're now going to get Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate at NXT TakeOver Chicago tomorrow night, and I think that match will blow the roof off of NXT Chicago if it's given time. My worry is that they'll rush it through and not let it mature like the matches have done tonight on a separate standalone show. But yeah, as I say, if Pete Dunne comes away with the championship tomorrow night and puts on a good performance, they let him do some heel segments throughout the show, he, as a superstar, will be born tomorrow night, I think. And Tyler Bate, he's only 20, so he's got a lot of time to build up as well, and I think they might have a bit more of a slow burn with him. But overall impressions of tonight, I think like pretty much every match was solid. 3 of the 4 matches were above expectation levels, and 3 of the 4 matches done really, really well to show. Hello, random rubbish. Who won? Which match are you talking about? Which match do you want to know who won? I'll give you a quick rundown of what happened. Do you want to know who won the title match between Mark Andrews and Tyler Bate? I was literally just talking about that 5 minutes ago. So Mark Andrews versus Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate won. It was a great match. If you've got the WWE Network, definitely go and watch it. It went on for about 25 minutes, I think, and it started off quite slow and very technical, and then just built up into this really, really good match with loads of amazing spots. There was definitely a couple of like WTF moments in that title match that worked really well. Have you got the WWE Network? I just implore you to go and watch it, basically. Mark Andrews done really well because obviously he's a high flyer in that, but he showed a real technical side and it worked really well. Who did you want to win is the question. Who did you want to win? I think and then obviously, so obviously Tyler Bate won the title match, and then before it, the number 1 contenders with Pete Dunne and Trent Seven. Pete Dunne won that, and basically done a number on Trent Seven, really injured him. So tomorrow night at NXT TakeOver, we're going to have Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate. Are you going to be watching NXT TakeOver tomorrow night, do you think? I think it's going to be a great match on NXT. Tyler Bate, yeah. Well, then you go. You had your wish come true. Tyler Bate won. He won with his is it Tyler Driver 97? Yeah, he won with that. As I say, there's some great spots. Few hurricanes. Trying to think what else was there. Lots of dives. Although Randy Orton hates that apparently. But I think if you're not going to watch NXT TakeOver tomorrow night, my personal opinion is Pete Dunne will take the title from Tyler Bate tomorrow night. The way they built up Pete Dunne on the show tonight, with his heel segments and kind of him just taking no prisoners and being really savage with what he'd done, I think they're going to give him the title tomorrow night and kind of push him a bit more. Probably give him a spot on NXT a bit more. I know he's been wrestling a bit on NXT, and so has Tyler Bate and Mark Andrews. I think Trent Seven has as well. But I really think tomorrow they're going to push him higher and higher and higher. But yeah, so I've talked about all the matches pretty much, and then I can talk about a bit about NXT, but I'm going to do a live stream of that tomorrow night, so we can talk more in depth. It's made me really excited for tomorrow night with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I know I keep going on about it, but I think it's going to be great. Other than that, if you're watching this on a replay, leave a comment below. What did you enjoy most about the show tonight? What were your high moments? I think for me, the high moments were the Pete Dunne Trent Seven match, the Mark Andrews versus Tyler Bate match, the TJ Perkins wanker segment, JR on commentary. Thought that worked really well. and I think the crowd done really well. I think they were good. They're just on the edge though. I think, like, I really like the interaction between the wrestlers and the crowd. However, I do think it goes a bit too far sometimes, and the "This is awesome" chants and the British wrestling chants, although they're great every now and again, to have them so many times throughout the night, it was just getting a bit repetitive. Come on, British fans, we can do better than this. We can think up some great chants. But overall, brilliant night. I really hope this leads to, firstly, more shows on the WWE network, and secondly, hopefully, with the rumours going about, a weekly segment on the show. That would be amazing. A weekly show, sorry, on the WWE network. That would be amazing. But I do think they need to build up their roster a bit more before they move into that. But being part of the UK indie scene, there is loads and loads. So I got the hiccups tonight. Seeing the UK indie scene, there are loads and loads of wrestlers to choose from and loads of great talent, so I don't think that's a problem. But yeah, overall, great night, really enjoyed it, kept my interest, and it's made me really look forward to NXT tomorrow night. Again, as I say, if you watched it, leave your comments below, tell us what you thought. Do you agree with what I kind of say about the show? And also, if you want to be notified when I do my NXT live stream tomorrow night, and I'll do one for Backlash as well, I think. Jamie, who I normally do them with, is away this weekend, so hopefully we'll catch up next week and talk about everything. So you've just got me tomorrow night, but I hope to chat to some of you guys and talk more wrestling. So if you like that, please subscribe and you'll be notified when I'm online. Be great if you could give this a like as well. And just thank you for watching. I appreciate it. This is I'm still, we're a new channel. We're still learning things. We're still finding our rhythm. But it's great that, even if one person comes and says hello to us, it means a lot. It genuinely means a lot. Our main aim of this channel is to kind of build a community and get people talking about wrestling together and kind of create a community and discussion so we can all talk about the thing we love most together, which is wrestling. British wrestling, WWE wrestling, world wrestling. It's all here on this channel. But until tomorrow night for NXT Live, I'm about to say mark out.